This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 1:15. Here is the news edited by Catherine Pereira, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. The President emphasized that the national plan should be implemented to ensure food security and nutrition in Sri Lanka. A national midday meal for school children under the aid of United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. The proposed National Council to be established in Parliament will be added to the parliamentary agenda and the book next week. About 2,500 employment opportunities have been offered by South Korea for Sri Lankans in the industrial sector. Local news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized that a national plan should be implemented to ensure food security and nutrition in Sri Lanka. He made this observation speaking at the inauguration of the program at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday to establish a multi-sector combined mechanism for empowering of rural economic revitalization centers to ensure food security and nutrition. The President pointed out that agriculture should be made a foreign exchange earning sector by way of enhancing production and competitiveness through the modernization of agriculture. The President, who emphasized the need to work in an organized and collective manner to solve the food issue in the face of the global food crisis, said that everyone should join hands with the government's new program to ensure food security and nutrition. The present economic crisis increasing the prices of foods items and the shortage in the country have been severely affected to the nutritional level of the school children. Considering this situation, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organizations have agreed to provide their support to enhance the nutrition program in primary schools. Under this program, $27 million are to be provided. Plans have been made to provide a nutritional midday meal to 1.8 million children of the school with the participation of the Ministries of Agriculture, Education and Health. A discussion was held under the patronage of Minister Mahinda Amravira at the Ministry of Agriculture yesterday. He advised the relevant authorities to give an egg or 4 children per day to their midday meal. The proposed National Council to be established in Parliament will be added to the parliamentary agenda and the book on 20th of this month. The Speaker will be the Chairman of the Working Committee of the Council. The other members of the Council are the Prime Minister, Leader of the House, Opposition Leader and the main whip of the government party. It has been proposed to pass this proposal by the majority of 35 parliamentarians that represented the accepted political parties in the Parliament. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Scan the Lanka QR code and make your payments with People's Pay mobile payment app from People's Bank.
Continuing with more local stories, about 2,500 employment opportunities have been offered by South Korea for Sri Lankans in the industrial sector, such as house painting, welding, plumbing, etc., for a monthly salary exceeding 850,000 rupees, State Minister of Mass Media Santha Bandara said yesterday. The biggest advantage of this offer is that proficiency in the Korean language and National Vocational Qualification (NVQ) are not necessary for these jobs, he added. Jobs in other fields such as industrial, fishing and construction sectors in Korea need Korean language proficiency and NVQ, he noted. State Minister Bandara told the weekly post-cabinet news briefing that skills and experience in house painting, plumbing, welding, etc. are sufficient to secure a job in this sector in Korea. Veteran lyricist Ananda Padmasri has passed away at the age of 63 years. He had contributed his lyrics to many popular songs of H.R. Jyotipala. He was coordinated the program of Ma Kamithi Jyoti that was broadcast through the nation. He had acted as the editor of the several newspapers of the Lagbima Newspaper Institute. He has rendered a great service to the cinema as well. The final rites of the late Ananda Padmasri will be conducted at the Keenawala Cemetery on Friday evening. That ends local news.
Nobody looks for hotels like this. So why do you still pay with cash when you have People's Pay mobile app from People's Bank? Scan the Lanka QR code and make your payments with People's Pay mobile payment app from People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Specialist Dr. Hemanta Herath re-emphasizes that the importance of receiving vaccination in order to safeguard from the COVID virus. 30 COVID patients were being reported daily. Participating in the Dasadesin program of the SLBC, he requested the public to follow the health guidelines properly.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the railway control room said that the train services along the coastal belt were delayed as a result of signal failure in Kalutara this morning. Accordingly, all trains, including the office trains arriving in Colombo, will be delayed due to this. It said the signal failure is being attended to by technicians. However, the trains on the affected railway lines are being operated manually, the department said. That ends Watchlight. Moving on to world news, let's take a look at the headlines. Queen Elizabeth's coffin arrives at Buckingham Palace. China's president and Putin to discuss Ukraine war at meeting. UN General Assembly opens new session with Ukraine in focus. World news in detail. The coffin of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II has arrived at Buckingham Palace in London. The Queen passed away at Balmoral Castle, her summer home in Scotland, last week at the age of 96. On Monday, her coffin was brought to a cathedral in Edinburgh, where about 33,000 mourners paid their respects. The following day, her coffin left Edinburgh Airport on a Royal Air Force plane bound for London, with soldiers in the traditional Scottish kits playing the national anthem. Prince William and Prince Harry will walk together behind the Queen's coffin in a procession in London today. The brothers, along with the King, will follow the coffin on foot from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall, where the Queen will lie in state. China's leader Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin will discuss the war in Ukraine and other international and regional topics at their meeting later this week, the Kremlin says. The two will meet in Uzbekistan at a summit that will show an alternative to the Western world, the Kremlin said. Mr. Xi is making his first trip overseas since the beginning of the pandemic. He is seeking a historic third term while Mr. Putin's relations with the West are at rock bottom over Ukraine. Mr. Xi is beginning his 3-day trip in Kazakhstan today. The UN General Assembly has opened its 77th session. Attention is on the delegates from the member countries will say regarding the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The session began on Tuesday at the UN headquarters in New York. In his opening remarks, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres stressed that the world is facing various challenges such as conflicts and poverty. He called for peace and solidarity, saying the world is looking to the Assembly members to use all tools to their disposal to negotiate and forge consensus and solutions. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Queen Elizabeth's coffin arrives at Buckingham Palace. China's President and Putin to discuss Ukraine war at meeting. UN General Assembly opens new session with Ukraine in focus. That ends world news. Moving on to development news. Melegangoda main road across Horavilla, Walasmulla in Mulkirigala's electoral division will be developed and carpeted. More than 42 million rupees has spent for the project and 5,000 families will benefit. That ends development news.
Sports news is brought to you by...
With many values that bind us beyond the transaction, we are Sampath Bank. We present your future.
The final match of the SEP football tournament will be held at the Colombo Racecourse Ground at 7 p.m. tonight. India and Nepal teams have been qualified for the final match. Sri Lanka team was able to secure the semi-final rounds of the tournament. Chairman of the Sri Lanka football team, Jaswar Umar, said that the tournament will help to gain experience for the youth sportsmen in the country. Mahela Javardhana has resigned as the head coach of Mumbai Indians to take on a new role in the franchise team with the aim of building a global cricket legacy for them. In a statement, Mumbai Indian ownership said with the expansion of #One Family, which now includes MI Emirates and MI Cape Town, along with the Mumbai Indians. The team management recognized the need for the central team. Thereby, Javardhan has been elevated to the position by global head of performances of the franchise team. Thereby, Javardhan has been elevated to the position of global head of the performances of the franchise team. That ends sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Establishing its presence as a global digital payment solutions provider, Sri Lanka's leading merchant acquiring bank, HNB PLC, signed on an internet payment gateway provider for the national carrier Sri Lankan Airlines. The airline joins the most extensive portfolio of the local merchants with access to enhanced e-commerce functionalities with the ability to offer customers seamless, robust and secure payment experience via HNB's integrated e-commerce payment management service CyberSource. That ends business news.
Business news sponsored by...
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Economic news. Courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Awards have been presented to the entrepreneurs who were passed at the final competition at the Sunlight Manudhamma Viyamana technological program, which was conducted online for the entrepreneurs engaged in apparel sector in Nuwara. 250 entrepreneurs were selected at this competition. That ends economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award, whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
Moving on to weather report, the Met Department says that a few showers will occur in western and sub-Ragamuffin provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Gol and Mathura districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. That ends weather report. To wrap up the afternoon news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The President emphasized that a national plan should be implemented to ensure food security and nutrition in Sri Lanka. A nutritional midday meal for school children under the aid of United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization. The proposed National Council to be established in Parliament will be added to the parliamentary agenda and the book next week. About 2,500 employment opportunities have been offered by South Korea for Sri Lankans in the industrial sector. That ends afternoon news on Radio Sri Lanka.